Hi, this is Michael Adams for Stock-Telegraph, and you guys know I'm covering Exeter for like years and years and years, but actually it's the first time that I have the opportunity to talk to Wendell Zerb. He's with Exeter now for a couple of years, I guess, but so far I talked to Yale Simpson, Rob Gray, all the other guys, but never to Wendell. So thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me.
Great, Michael.
And so you're with Exeter for like 2-3 years right now.
So I'm now with Exeter for 3 years.
Right.
3 years, and prior to that, a long stint in the investment community.
You've been a mining analyst, right, for Canaccord under?
That's right. So I left Canaccord in July 3 years ago, and joined Exeter following that.
Okay, cool. So, on Exeter, as I said, I'm dealing with Exeter for 8 years, and I have a personal conflict of interest. I'm also a shareholder, and I bought my first Exeter like years ago at $8 because I really believe in this project. I believe in the management team. I think this 35 million ounces gold equivalent in Chile. You have now you found a lot of water. You have 26 million or whatever in the bank account. So there's nothing wrong, what I could figure out. But still, the stock, I averaged down on the way down to 46 or whatever cents we are right now. But still, my average price is probably around 350. So give me some hope.
Well, I think there's fantastic hope, and you hit on what I would say are some of the key points. The market price today is obviously very frustrating for everybody. But when you do look at what sits in the company, it is this enormous asset in a great jurisdiction, being Chile, still one of the top jurisdictions in the world. But not only is it a large asset, and I think that's one of the critical points that I'd put in place here today. We went through this period of time where everybody wanted large, low-grade assets. So you talked about 35 million ounces of gold equivalent. It's actually about 39 million ounces gold equivalent. But I think market went through a phase of saying, well, that's great, but nobody's putting these into production, and therefore you're not going to do it, and therefore if you did, there'd be great dilution. So what we've been actually able to do is we've been able to come back and show actually some very unique characteristics. Not only do we have a big deposit, but we've got a starter zone in our oxide zone right here.
You have this oxide which is close to surface. Then you have this sulfide which is like the core sulfide, which also has a higher grade, right? And that was one of the ideas which actually I was discussing with Rob Gray like years ago. That I said, don't try to bring this monster into production. You can't finance it, this majors, you have Barrick and Kinross on each other side, but hey, those guys have their own problems. So the original plan, I think what the market was playing is that, hey, Exeter will be taken out from one of the majors. But that's right now my feeling not going to happen. So what you guys, and especially with you taking the helm at Exeter, came up with is this kind of different approach, right? That you can bring it into production by yourself, by kind of using or using these various zones, starting with the oxide cap and then maybe go deeper and finance the rest of the production and exploration by the oxide. Is that right? Is that kind of the game plan?
Yeah, so again, as a junior company, you have many options on how you push a project forward. By being able to show that we can start with that near surface zone, that's the game plan. It's about $250 million US to put it into production. It's a 10-year mine life. It produces about 122,000 ounces of gold a year, so it's an excellent zone of mineralization. But even under those circumstances, we're in a market environment where I think the investment community isn't as enamored about pushing forward on a project. So what we've done is we've said we can move forward on oxide, we can then transition into the sulfide, we can get bigger. You mentioned we've discovered water. We've discovered probably the most significant water discovery in Chile in decades. So we're de-risking this asset. Nevertheless, we're still in a position where the market doesn't appreciate us. And I think that's just the market we're in. But we have that longevity. We have the capital to take us through these poor times in the market. We're very low risk in terms of the jurisdiction we're in, the asset we have, and everything else. But we'll de-risk, we'll move forward, and eventually we'll get upside for our shareholders.
And I'm a strong believer in this. And this water, as boring as it sounds, to me and to most of the investors probably, it's so important for the development of the company, as far as I understand it. And I think Yale tried to make that clear to me. He said, like, hey, if we find enough water, one of the majors will take us over, not because of the project, but because we are a water company.
Yeah, so we're in a very dry area of the world, and water is scarce. And it's becoming more scarce in these dry locations, Chile, California, many other locations. We've drilled 6 large diameter holes at our Peñas Blancas water exploration area. We've outlined about 400 liters per second of water. To put that into context, we only need about 50 liters per second of water for our phase 1 project. So we've discovered more than enough water that we need. But what a lot of people I don't think actually realize is that as great a discovery as this is, we're now moving forward to get our water rights, but we have many different options for water. There's other water in the area that people already have rights with, so we could maybe trade water rights. The infrastructure that's down in the Copiapó Valley is significant. There's desalination plants that are being put together throughout the region. And then it's just a cost of being able to transport the water. So we're working on what we think is a fantastic location for water and discovery of water. We're working to get the water rights to put it into our project. But we have many options for water. It's just a matter of which one comes first and which one's best.
Okay. No, I really like this approach, and also you kind of announced some cost cutting, to preserve as much of the cash as you have right now, which also is probably a smart move, because we don't know how long this depressed market will continue, and definitely you don't want to dilute your shareholders because you need to raise more money, like a lot of the companies around that show, right? They need to raise more money at these valuations to dilute the hell out of their shareholders, which nobody likes, right? So I really like this plan, but on the other hand, you have this huge cash position. Is there any thinking of putting some of that money to work towards other projects, like acquiring other companies, other projects? That's something which the Exeter guys are really good at, right? To discover good projects. So, and there was some, I think in Mexico, you kind of had some deal going on, which didn't turn out in favor as far as I understand it. But still, are you going to continue in that direction? Will there be some, besides Caspiche, will there be some other activities?
So we're always actively looking for new opportunities for shareholders, and I would agree this group has been very successful at finding good opportunities in the past. What I will say is that we have been active over the last 2+ years since I've been in place, reviewing assets, companies, mergers of equals, project-specific opportunities. And I will say that there's opportunities that we've considered, but I can also say that it isn't quite as easy as many people think in terms of the opportunities that are available. We are very particular because we already know we have one of the best assets in the world. We don't want to dilute our shareholders by bringing in projects that aren't as good. So we're looking for opportunities, we're constantly assessing, and when we find the right one, we'll go after it.
Okay, and one of the reasons why I was asking was on the Newsflow, based on the stage you are in right now, with this water, the last couple of months have been pretty quiet, right? So let's assume the market gets better, like the whole resource market gets better. Of course, there will be some catch-up of the share price because the whole market gets better, but to really create new excitement, you will need more news flow. And if you would go for another project where you can drill the hell out of it, and come up with good results, that would probably create some more excitement. But on the other hand, in this market, you don't get any reward for these type of discoveries. So again, as I have to say, I think you made the right moves in the past. The market right now does not give you the valuation which I think, and I can say that, Exeter deserves. Even compared to some of the peers, you're way undervalued. Like 1 ounce in the ground is valued at, if you take cash and it's 80 cents or something like that, right? So 1 ounce of gold, yeah, so that's ridiculous. Yeah, so, but that's my opinion. I'm biased, so maybe some final words to the German and of course Canadian shareholders.
Well, I think what I would say is that we are in a marketplace that you do need some patience. We, as a management group, are doing a lot of things that we think are prudent to keep de-risking Caspice. We believe it's one of the best underdeveloped gold, copper, and gold oxide projects in the world. We do have the balance sheet to support us in these difficult times, and I would say that patience will be very well rewarded when we do get a turnaround in the marketplace. The other side of it is the expertise behind the company is strong. We're constantly looking for new opportunities, but I could also be very clear that we do not want to get involved in opportunities that is going to dilute shareholders out of the great upside that Caspice has.
That's perfect. So again, I really believe that if you buy into Exeter, like my average price is like $3.50, and I don't feel bad, yeah, about it. So I'm pretty sure it will go up there, even way higher. And so yeah, just to all of my subscribers, to all of my readers, yeah, if you're not a shareholder, yeah, take another look at the company. It's a very good website. You can get all the information. The company presentation is there, exeterresource.com. And yeah, so I hope to catch up with you at PDAC again. Yeah, maybe there's some news we can talk about. And yeah, all the luck for you guys.
Thanks very much, Michael. Thank you.